I on? Yes, I think I am. So, as if a glance into my daughter's wardrobe wasn't enough to convince me, the 90s are back, right? And with the baggy skater jeans and the multicolored fleeces, are we back to that kind of brash, almost brutalist capitalism encapsulated by Gordon Gekko when he said in the film Wall Street, "Greed is good"? And that's the title for our motion today. Greed is good. And it's a brilliant title for a debate. ICRS, well chosen, absolutely fantastic. It will get us going. We have two teams, one speaking for the motion and one speaking against the motion. Now, I have met these four people, and let me tell you, they're all very nice, and I am not expecting any of them to speak in favour of that statement in its baldest form. So I am not expecting anybody to say that greed is universally and of itself a good thing. The debate we want to have today is perhaps a little bit more nuanced than that. So essentially the argument we're unpacking is the one that's famously attributed to Milton Friedman when he said the business of business is business. And by what he meant by that was that we all do best if business sticks to its knitting. So if business competes with maximal efficiency, society as a whole benefits because we get the best quality of products and services at the lowest price, and investors get the best return on their money. So if we meddle with that market-based formula, we're all worse off. But the alternative argument is that actually that's not true, and that business actually exists, we might call it, for a higher purpose. We expect more than the commercial from businesses. There are higher aims, there are greater goods in society, and businesses should play their part in delivering those things. Taken to that edge, we might even argue that is business itself a good thing? Does the world of capitalism serve society or not? So that is the argument that we're going to unpack today. Now, if that sounds abstract to you, and you're thinking, yeah, this is playing out in real time right now on the other side of the Atlantic, where activist investors are bringing lawsuits against the management of companies on the basis of Friedman's argument. They are saying that every dollar diverted into an ESG or a DEI program is a dollar that should be returned to the shareholders, and that therefore directors who do that are in breach of their fiduciary duty. And they are threatening to bring suits against companies as we speak. So it's a really live debate, and I'm really glad that we're going to have a look at it today. Let me introduce you to our panel. I'll start on this side. On my furthest over on the stage is Brian Chang, Research Fellow at LSE and King's College. He's also an Assistant Director for the Centre for the Study of Governance and Society. Brian's a researcher, and his principal research interest is how states and markets work together through regulation and policy. And that places him in a great position. He'll be kicking off our debate. Sitting with Brian on the For the Motion team is Victoria Price, Managing Director of Alvarez & Marsal. Victoria's background is in tax. She was a partner at EY. She's now leading the private capital team at A&M, which means that she is also giving media interviews on what we can expect in the spring statement tomorrow. Victoria is a very accomplished leader, advisor, and also an investor in her own right. She runs a fund. So they are our team for the motion. Speaking against the motion, we have on the farthest extreme, we have Anya Clark, Head of Investor Strategy at the Business and Human Rights Resource Centre. Anya leads the Know the Chain and the investor relations work there. And before that, she was at Share Action, which is a charity promoting and supporting responsible investment. And sitting next to Anya is Isabel Kelly. Isabel is founder with Profit with Purpose, where she spent the last 10 years working with companies on their social impact strategies. She's also a long-term advisor in a variety of different contexts to the Saïd Business School in Oxford, and it is also her birthday. So you know what to do. I am leading, you are the chorus. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Isabel. Happy birthday to you. So welcome our oral panel. So what I'll do is I'll invite the speakers to speak. 1 for, 1 against, 1 for, 1 against. Then I'll pose them some questions, and then I'm coming out to you, so get your questions ready. But before we do this, so we're not going to have a formal who wins this debate, but I'm interested. So, between the business of business is business, let's leave the market to drive these things, or companies exist for a higher social purpose. Where do you stand? So who is on my business, show of hands please, who is coming into this room today on the business of business is business? Show of hands. Oh, Jade, I like it. Yeah, Reagan's there. Yeah, there's a few. Jenny's there. Good. And on the other side, business exists for a higher social purpose. Oh, it's a fix. Guys, I did warn you. So that's where we're starting. We'll see if we can change some of your opinions by the end. So, well, let's see where we end up. That's exactly where we may find ourselves. So let me start without any further comments. Brian, would you like to take to the stage and convince us, please, that greed is good?
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, as Simon explained, I'm an academic. I spent a number of years in King's College London, where I got my PhD in political economy. I'm now a research fellow in LSE. I'm originally from Singapore, that's my home country. I also have some experience in business and in civil service. In today's debate, I will make the case for what I call liberal capitalism, in the tradition of Adam Smith, Milton Friedman, and F.A. Hayek. It is a system where decision-making is decentralized across diverse holders of property rights, and where voluntary exchange is a central principle in social interactions. The opposite of liberal capitalism is some form of central planning, whether full-fledged socialism or even the modern regulatory state, where decision-making is relatively concentrated in a single center of power, and where coercion or social pressure is relatively more pronounced. My argument for liberal capitalism today is not simply that greed is good. Political economists like myself acknowledge that human beings have a natural tendency to pursue their self-interest. Whether you're buying groceries in Tesco seeking a better deal for yourself, or whether making an investment decision trying to maximize your returns. When you look at a picture you just took, who do you look at first? Yourself. This does not make people immoral, but rather human, with a natural tendency to pursue prudent behavior. Given that self-interest is a pretty universal feature of human behavior, the question we must ask is what kind of economic system do we want to ensure that this self-interest is channeled towards the public good? Liberal capitalism is precisely this system, because rather than denying its existence of self-interest or trying to work against it, it harnesses it towards the public interest. It does so through the mechanisms of competition, by pitting the self-interest of one agent against another agent, leading to net improvement in living standards. The crucial condition in this system is that it occurs within the rule of law. This is different from political capitalism, or what economists call crony capitalism, which is rife with government favoritism, subsidies, and rent-seeking behavior, which happens in many countries today, that distort competition. While liberal capitalism relies on genuine competition, crony capitalism involves the collusion of political and economic elites, where businesses extract unearned rents through the public purse. When we point out the imperfections of capitalism today, which I'm sure we hear a lot from the opposition today, the question we must always ask is, what is the alternative? Typically, the error that people make is when they compare an imperfect market economy against some idealized democratic or political process that can somehow correct market imperfections in a frictionless manner. If greed is indeed a concern, I have news for you, ladies and gentlemen, that the people in regulatory states, that people who staff modern governments, are themselves self-interested people who are prone to opportunistic behavior with their own personal agendas. For all its imperfections, at least liberal capitalism has some level of competition at play, as compared to the state sector, which is fundamentally monopolistic. There is no such thing as a greed-free system or a greed-free society, but we can prefer one that disperses and diffuses its effects. In liberal capitalism, there is no fundamental need for economic agents to pursue CSR, ESG, DEI, or any philanthropic initiative in order to serve the public good. The essence of business ethics is the creation of genuine value, win-win transactions within the rules of the game. No amount of philanthropy can compensate for a business model that's fundamentally fraudulent. Conversely, a firm that genuinely provides and creates value for others, innovation, producing goods and services that people voluntarily buy, needs no external validation through such initiatives in order to be more ethical. Consider a comparison between two companies, FedEx, which we are all familiar with, and an American corporation called Archer Daniels Midland, ADM. The mission of FedEx is simple. We deliver packages quickly and efficiently. By excelling in and profiting from what it does best, it makes society better off. It makes your life better off. ADM, on the other hand, boasts about its charitable giving and sustainability initiatives while simultaneously engaging in aggressive rent-seeking behavior. It regularly lobbies for subsidies and government protections, and at one point, nearly half its profits come from government connections. For every $1 they earn from profits from its own corn sweetener products, consumers lose $10 through government interventions favoring the company. The comparison is crucial. CSR and ESG does not make a company more ethical. Its fundamental business practices do. Modern societies function because different organizations specialize in different tasks. Businesses serve society by providing goods and services people want at prices they can afford, not by becoming a charity or not by becoming some other organization. It's a moral confusion to think that a company must somehow engage in CSR to be more ethical. A business's ethical obligations primarily concern how it makes its money, not what it does with this money. Now, to be clear, and this is my last point, liberal capitalism does not necessitate that all economic agents must pursue wealth, money, and profits, or commercial objectives. The essence of the system is what the philosopher Robert Nozick calls a framework for utopia, where different people have their own protected sphere to pursue their own vision of the good. Some people may pursue commerce. Others may want to set up social enterprises, charities, or some hybrid organizations. The point is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to doing good for others that we ought to socially privilege or legislate, and certainly not to expect commercial firms to be more like non-commercial entities. So my underlying point is as follows. Liberal capitalism allows 100 flowers to bloom, and that is a great thing. Thank you very much.